All right, I guess I'm introducing this episode. We are recapping LSU
Go Tigers.
at
Go Tigers.
Clemson.
Wait, was it LSU at Clemson, or was it pretty much Clemson at LSU? Because it was at Death Valley, I heard.
Death Valley Jr.
Death Valley
Death Valley
Jr.
Jr. Okay,
Death Valley
sure.
Jr.
Not the real Death
Death
Valley.
Brian
Valley
Kelly
Jr.
was right.
I mean, for once.
Hey, he murdered his own player and then Clemson.
Dude,
That's
Jesus Christ.
You know?
That's a fact.
No,
Yeah.
the comment section hates
true
us for that.
section.
We get, all right.
I mean,
okay.
you know, screw it.
all right.
they
Anyways,
gonna
let's
do,
talk about
sue
the
me?
game, Mike. Let's talk about the game.
Yeah, no doubt.
So
Only the Valley.
LSU beat Clemson 17-10. What a game! I think the biggest takeaway, I got to start here with LSU, is our defense. Finally, we have a defense.
Ruiz.
Oh my goodness!
Ruiz. And Harold Perkins.
I mean, Perk's back.
Burke.
Will Weeks. I mean, that duo.
I just,
I mean, it could be top 5 in the nation.
Mansour
That-
Delane, or whatever.
Mansour Delane. No, I mean, I'll get everything. First, we'll start with the D-line. The D-line this game was flying. I mean, literally flying. I was at the game. I was standing on the 50-yard line. I was watching these boys sprint. And, I mean, this Clemson O-line looked the entire game just a step behind these edge rushers. It was to the point where, I mean, I was watching this first half thinking there's no way we keep this intensity for the entire game. Halftime score was 10-3. First off, fuck Brian Kelly for not kicking and making it 10-6. Anyways, I was watching our defense play lights out, and I was thinking, wow, we're really wasting this opportunity. There's no way they can hold this level. I was wrong. No, they held that intensity the entire game. I think one of the first drive for Clemson on third down, Cade Klubnik got sacked by our corner, Ellenwood. And then the last play of the game was Harold Perkins coming from not quite as far left, but the left side of the field and then sprinting across and hunting down Cade Klubnik. That just defines like this defense, just speed. Like they were just flying around.
Yeah, Cade thinks he's too fast. Cade doesn't know how fast he is.
Cade Wheels in his
He
mind.
thinks he's Lenore Sellers.
His mom told him he's fast.
Yeah, I don't know. The guy can't stand in the pocket, save his life.
And then our secondary, played really, really well. Mansour Delane obviously got the match ball. Gave up, I think, one completion or one catch. Got the interception. Safeties did their job, nothing special. And then our other corners, Ellenwood and AJ Housey, shut down again. Made this Clemson wide receiver trio, which was supposed to be highly touted, get shut down. And I know they lost Antonio Williams, which obviously would have put a lot more pressure on us. But I mean, Brian Westco did nothing, and he's personally going into this game, I thought he was their best receiver. So, and then when you go to the offensive side of the ball, Garrett Nussmeier did what he had to do. It's a tough environment. Clemson's defense was playing really well. I have to hand it to him. The O-line or the D-line for Clemson, not quite as advertised.
Agreed.
And I had said previously, I thought TJ Parker is their best player on defense. And to me, I mean, he showed it. Him and Will Helt off the edges
Will Helt looked
were
really
the only ones that really were causing any problems for us. Peter Woods, I mean,
Who?
yeah, I mean, this game he didn't show up. I don't know. I mean, Tyler will probably talk a little bit more about.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, about Peter Woods. I want to give credit to Clemson and their corners, though. Their corners did a really good job on our receivers. Ashton Hampton, seeing him in person, this dude is...
It's my dog.
No, he's a freak.
He is a freak.
I mean, you don't realize how big this dude is till you see him in person. He's like a solid 6'3", and he's not skinny either.
That's my favorite Clemson player.
No, I mean, he's insane. And Avion Terrell had a great game as well, forced a fumble.
That was a big fumble.
That fumble... The way this game was playing out early, I really thought this was going to be another Brian Kelly week 1. It was a game where we
it
looked...
should have been.
It's a game where it looked like we were the better team, but yet we were just shooting ourselves in the foot. At the end of the first quarter, Clemson had -10 total yards. We had like 101, and they were beating us 3-0 because Avion Terrell caused a fumble, and they ran it back to the 20, and our defense did their job to hold them to a field goal. But it was just like time after time, we're just little things, just not connecting. And in the second half, we finally started to put drives together. And I think this is one of the more complete LSU teams I've seen. For Clemson, Cade had a bad game. There's no two ways around it. I think our defense put a lot of pressure on him, and it really sped up his decision making. I mean, seeing it live, like Cade was trying to get rid of the ball quick, and there were a couple times where he had a lot more time than I think what he internally thought, and he was just going
Like
first
every
read.
time.
First read, like he wasn't even looking to make a second read. It was just releasing it. I think Cade will improve. I think this Clemson team, I think you'll see him in the playoffs. I think they'll be a different team at the end of the season. But really excited for this LSU team. I think, going forward, I think the offense will only improve. We'll finally start figuring out who our go-to receiver is, which it looked like Aaron Anderson's going to be that guy. But like who the number 2 is, we were doing a heavy rotation. We had like 6 receivers getting pretty much, or 5 getting equal playing time. Aaron Anderson was the only one consistently out almost
he's him. Their connection is really good.
Yeah. And I think as well, another concern for Clemson, I would say maybe is their run defense.
Concern. That's like a screaming red flag.
Yeah. I mean, that was I think, the biggest.
One of the worst things I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, that was the
defense
biggest.
this game?
No, I thought you said run offense. My bad.
No, Clemson's run defense.
Oh,
sorry,
yeah.
go.
Well, their
they were
defensive
fine
line I
defense.
didn't think was that great. Underperformed.
Yeah,
I'll take
but-
3.5 yards per carry.
Yeah, but
31 carries, I think is pretty good. But
yeah, but I thought that was honestly the biggest difference in the game was us being able to run the ball. And I know Clemson didn't, attempt a lot of runs, but also they weren't really stopping us consistently. They were making stop, and then break off run. And last year, Clemson, that was their biggest red flag on defense. They had an all-time low for their run defense, and I think that rolled over a little bit. You saw improvement, but Tom Allen's still got some work to do in that department. But yeah, man, what a fun environment. I gotta hand it to the Clemson fans. They brought the energy. That was cool to see in person. So I'll let Tyler talk about it.
First off, we can't be losing home night games. I don't care who you
It's a
play.
new thing.
Yeah.
It's becoming a thing now that we've lost 2 in a row with Louisville last year, and then LSU this year. I actually, like Mario said, I'll start with the only positive thing, and I think it was actually the entire defense. I didn't think the run defense was bad at all. I mean, 31 carries for LSU with their offensive line that actually gave Garrett Nussmeier all day to throw the ball for 108 yards, 3.5 yards per carry. I'll take that every day of the week. If they're going to run the ball 31 times and get 100 rushing yards, I'm 100% fine with that. Garrett Nussmeier made some insane passes that he was rolling out. He made no mistakes. He was literally a flawless game. Then we held them to 17 points. And I think also, I know they had that touchdown that was controversial. They called that, I think it was in multiple games, that I think it should be a touchdown if you go out of bounds, but they're calling it if the ball touches the ground at any point, it's never going to be a touchdown this season. So, yeah, it is what it is. Both their touchdowns came on pass interference calls on third downs from, one was a 3rd and 5 that was PI. It was a little aggressive by Ashton Hampton. And then the other one I thought was a ghost call.
It was bad.
It was 3rd and 11, I believe.
did see a replay of that because I have to say
They
real
were
quick-
tugging on the
yeah,
shirt, but I
because
didn't think
the
it's
replay
PI.
they showed in the stadium,
I mean, they were also...
everyone was confused.
Oh, it was
made no
nuts.
sense.
They were also they didn't call it the other way as well. There was a couple plays. I don't want to get too into particular pass interference calls, but I thought it was a pretty handsy game both sides. I don't like 3rd and 11 PIs that are semi-questionable being called there. But end of the day, Cade needs to be much, much better to win games like this. I have no worries about this team at all, actually, after just seeing the defense. Because my biggest problem last year was anyone can score on us, then we're never going to be a national championship contention team. I believe this is the second or the lowest point total that Garrett Nussmeier's ever scored in his career at LSU. He's the standalone Heisman favorite, and we held him to 17 points. We, again, shouldn't be losing home night games, but I think the play calling was terrible. We ran the ball 4 times in the second half. 2 of those were Cade Klubnik keepers, 1 on 3rd and 5, which is probably the worst QB draw play I've ever seen called in my entire life. But at the end of the day, regardless of the decision-making Cade made, regardless of what I think was actually a really big issue for the offense and our best weapon by far in Antonio Williams being hurt and out of the game 6 or 7 minutes into the first quarter and not coming back, which I think left a lot of holes in having Wesco and TJ Moore having to play spots that they didn't usually have to play, being more like the feature receiver, even though I don't think either of them actually played a bad game. I think they were open on a lot of routes that Cade missed. But, I mean, at the end of the game, we're on the 8-yard line. Cade has a clean pocket, and Tyler Brown, number 6, is literally butt naked in the middle of the field for a throw that anyone can make if your eyes are forward, and it's just a walk-in touchdown.
Very least the first
to
down.
go into overtime. I mean, there's the safety is looking towards the outside receiver, like it's a walk-in touchdown to go into overtime after a game that honestly we shouldn't have been in, regardless of the score. So, yeah, I'm really disappointed. I thought our offense was going to be much better. This is something that I think people are going to be talking about is Garrett Riley, especially in his first games of the season. He's now had 3 seasons at Clemson, all 3 with Cade. We've scored 3, 7, and now 10 points in our 3 season openers.
It's increasing.
But yeah, it is increasing. But the one thing I will say, and then I'll kind of hand it off, and I'm happy to talk more about every aspect of this game. I could talk about this game for an hour. Was just like, I don't know. This felt a lot different to me than the last 2 seasons. This first game, the environment was absolutely nuts. The first quarter especially, like you couldn't hear yourself think in the slightest.
No.
That energy hasn't been at Clemson in a very, very long time. I think it'll stay. I think we're going to run off a lot of games in the ACC. An ACC, which I think is actually going to have a lot of ranked teams this year, so it's going to help us kind of maintain status in playoff contention. And we have a really, really good chance, I think, to make the ACC championship and then have a really good test against South Carolina at the end of the season. The strength of schedule will be enough if we run off enough wins. 10 wins gets you in the playoffs with this team for sure.
Yeah.
And I also, at the end of the day, I think when we get our players back and Cade gets a rhythm, I think you'll see something similar to last year as far as production ramping up. But I think this LSU team took me by surprise. They might be the best or the second best team in the SEC this year, and there's a legitimate chance Garrett Nussmeier just kind of walks away with this Heisman Trophy. So that's what I had to say.
Yeah, I like that. Get it out of the way. The thing I've been saying all offseason, this Clemson team was unbelievably overrated in every aspect of the game, in my opinion, especially coaching. I just thought coaching in every which way was terrible. 0 adjustments, it felt like, throughout the game, especially when LSU sent the same felt like the same quick pressure
On
every
offense,
single time. Yeah, no offense. Defensively, I don't think the rushing defense was that good. If you take the actual players that played in the game, Xavier Thomas and my boy Caden Durham, they averaged like almost 5 yards or more per carry. Yeah. I mean, Nussmeier, I'll factor that in. He gets sacks, it's a little different, but I don't think they're that good. Their pressure, in my opinion, wasn't great. Nussmeier showed me this game that he's so much better than every other quarterback in the country by a wide margin.
Yep.
One of the throws, big on the scoring drive, coming around right, throw over the middle of the field, crossing pattern, one of the most impressive throws. I also think the score is not even close to what it should have been. LSU, I think, could have easily won by like 17 points here. Touchdown taken back, call it what you want. Then they missed the field goal, which is extra more points. The turnover battle, they lost. So, I just think that there's a lot of things that I think LSU left on the board. Clemson, I think, did nothing really surprising to me. Cade, when he has pressure, has not been the best. So, hats off to LSU's, I don't know your defensive coordinators, but, found the weak spot and attacked
Daniel.
I do think losing your go-to Antonio Williams is a big thing. I expect them to be better because he's the when everything goes wrong, you throw to your best player. You need that. But this Clemson, my biggest problem this whole offseason, your offense can be so good, your defense can be so good. You need to have a running game to win most college football games, especially in the playoffs. And this was one of the most atrocious things I've ever seen in my life. They averaged 1.6 yards per carry.
Yep.
They're big. Cade carried the ball the most times, eight times.
Yeah.
What was it, 5 or 6 for?
5 for Randall, which was 1 carry after his touchdown, middle of the second quarter. Or towards the end of the second quarter. He had 1 carry the rest of the game.
1 carry the rest of the game. And it's hand in hand midway through the second quarter. That was the last time you guys scored for the rest of the game. So there's a lot of holes they got to fix. Luckily, I think, like last year, they could do and improve. They have a coach that is good at that throughout the season. But this Clemson team is not as good. Being a 4th-ranked team in the country is ridiculous. I don't think it's even close. I think they got it so wrong. And LSU is much better than what we even saw, too. I don't think they're like a top 3 team yet. I think they still have a lot of work to do. This defense could have been perfectly prepped. Who knows? Still a lot to see. But they could have been a lot better in this game than they actually showed. And Nussmeier is the best quarterback Heisman by a mile.
So I was actually surprised by 2 things. First of all is the ability for the LSU defense, which we've all covered, but to continuously put pressure on Cade was incredibly impressive. Kind of before the game when we were going over it, we talked about how, Cade's only time he's ever really performed awful is when he has consistent pressure. And LSU was able to do that literally 4 quarters of the game, which was awesome. And then the other thing that really surprised me, which, I think the run game is a glaringly, open spot that the Clemson offense needs to fix, but it was also a repeated problem that we already knew about. What really scared me is Antonio Williams goes out, and Clemson has like a great core of receivers, and the core of receivers not being able to pick up even like, the slightest amount that I feel like Antonio Williams was,
I don't know
leaving
how true
on the
that is,
field.
though. I didn't feel like the receivers played bad. Like I think like TJ Moore
You
and
think
Antonio.
it was more on Cade?
I mean, TJ Moore was open on like 4 plays that he didn't even get the ball thrown to him, and he made some pretty contested catches. Bryant Wesco had
The two
the
biggest plays of the
breakaway
game.
catch on the
4th and 2.
wide open, and then he had that insane catch that they called incomplete at first, then reviewed, and he got tackled. Like I don't know, they had 120 yards combined, 121 yards between the two of them out of Cade's 230. Like they were pretty much the entire offense.
So do you think it was
in
more
a
on
game
Cade,
where
then?
Cade was just not throwing them the ball too and just missing it. Like I didn't
All right.
look at that game as like a wow, Bryant Wesco and TJ Moore can't do it. LSU's corners are disgusting. They were matched up against what might be one of the better maybe the best secondary probably will play all season long in the regular season. And
Doesn't help that Cade couldn't read.
yeah, and also they're both like true sophomores. I thought played well, but yeah, I thought it was definitely more Cade Klubnik than the receivers. Like when they were throwing the ball, they at least made an attempt on it or caught the ball.
I want to say I
Okay.
can attest to that as
That's-
well, being there in person.
fair.
Like I'm an LSU fan, so I'm watching like the Clemson players like run routes on our defense, and I'm seeing, not like all the time, but there were definitely like moments where people were wide open.
Like wide open.
Like
no one
yeah,
near
like,
them.
like we just like drop coverage, gave them basically like an easy like 7-8 yards like underneath, and I would just watch Cade just like hesitate and then just try to scramble out of when he had time.
The scramble
He'd
thing
have
has got.
he'd have like obviously
He
like
needs to take a hit and just make the throw instead of trying to
When
run.
he did that, it was the best throw of the game.
Yeah.
When he took the hit and threw it, that was on the touchdown drive or at the end of the game.
Yeah.
When they were going to the 8-yard line.
yeah. So I would actually defend Tyler with the wide receivers and just say like Cade literally like I just saw for almost like 3-4 quarters just stare down his receiver the entire route and just throw like inaccurate throws because he only completed 50% of his
the
passes.
interception's the best example of that too.
Yeah.
I mean, he's literally staring down the guy and overthrows him by like 10 miles.
Yeah.
And it was also Cole Turner, who should never get a snap in any game in the history of
Also,
games.
why are you throwing a high ball? To
No,
Cole Turner? Like,
don't get me started. But
Well,
yeah,
all right, then I stand corrected, and it makes the LSU, pressure doubly surprising and
totally.
Amazing. So
Yeah.
give credit to where that was due.
Yeah, no, it was a really, really brutal game for Clemson fans because yet again, I mean, we can sugarcoat the stats all they want, but Dabo's record against the SEC the last 2 years is 0-4.
Not good.
Now that it was 0-3 last year, and then we lost to LSU now. Granted, like we are playing the better teams.
Texas, Georgia,
we're
South
playing
Carolina.
we're playing like the better teams in the SEC.
But those are the ones you got to
But
win.
yeah, those are the games you have to win if you want to win the Natty. So it's like, I don't think. I mean, people can make jokes and be like, "Oh, you would, not going to win SEC games. You're going to play 75% of the SEC," and I think we wax them pretty easily. But I think we've got to what?
I have a question.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask this every year at a fair. If you guys don't make the playoffs,
Yeah.
is Dabo a hot seat?
No, Dabo he can't ever have a hot seat.
I'm gonna ask it every year.
It's
and I'm
impossible.
just gonna keep.
It's impossible.
All right.
Dabo
Go
can
ahead.
never
Sorry
be
to
on the hot
interrupt.
seat. I think if we don't make the playoffs, Garrett Riley's for sure fired, especially if TCU's offense looks really good, because that was his whole claim to fame was that he turned their offense into electricity. So TCU
1 year wonder.
48 tonight. It was
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. But yeah, it was really, really disappointing game, I think, for a lot of Clemson fans, and we definitely need to see some improvement. I think we'll get it. But Mario, go ahead and close it out. Congrats,
Oh,
you're
huge.
LSU Tigers.
Finally, first time in
maybe
6
the
years.
best team in the SEC.
I mean, it was. I think after this week, I think we are. I mean, it's we have to see Georgia play somebody. I mean, they played Marshall, so but they did kill them, so maybe they're slowly
Marshall.
back.
Yeah.
I feel like last year they maybe would have sweat out Marshall until like maybe like late third quarter.
they still didn't cover, so
I mean, with Carson.
Yeah, I mean, good teams win, great teams cover. I told Ed this; they're not a great team yet.
Yeah.
they gotta start covering those. But no, it really feels honestly like a monkey off Brian Kelly's back. I mean, he came here to try to win a natty, and I'm not the biggest fan of him as a coach. I think his biggest weakness is like being that motivator, being that guy that like Les Miles and Coach O, you never had a problem with the guys being riled up and ready to run out and just hit people. But he actually did that this game. Our guys came out flying, and it was good. And the one thing I never have to worry about with Brian Kelly is like our guys understanding their assignments. They're always like in place and organized. It's just whether they go out and execute and have that intensity.
Yeah.
And we did both. So we looked like a really complete team. I think we're like a top 4 team in the nation just off that one performance. But I don't want to get ahead of myself because college football, I mean,
It's
you can
week one.
It's week one.
always gotta
It's a
take a
long
step back,
season.
yeah.
There's nothing like week 1 overreactions.
But
We
It's the
always do
best.
it.
Yeah, but nonetheless, real Death Valley, real Tigers. Go Tigers.
Wow.
We'll see you later.
We are so
Wow.
back.